Good morning, everybody. Today I would like to do the third in a series of 4 songs that, as I said earlier, came out of my work with the homeless population. This song is sort of a sequel to the song Resurrection, and it follows Pete as he moves further down the road. But it also tells of several incidents that really happened, although to different people at different times. And one of these involved the sharing of a cigarette. And I watched it go down outside my office window, almost word for word, the way it's described in the song. I call the song Sally's Shoes. Pete was nothing if not a taker. Took everything on the slide, till Jesus took a blow meant for Pete and laid down in the snow and died. At first Pete sought to ignore the dead he bore as he moved from place to place, but soon, even in the ones who did him wrong, he could spot a trace of Jesus' face. And he couldn't forget the advice Jesus gave the night he died, about helping them worse off than him for finding peace of mind. It was Christmas Day at the Sally. Pete had a fine meal to eat, left wearing a pea jacket on his back and new Sally shoes on his feet. Then Pete heard a ruckus in the alley and spied Willie looking kinda sick, going toe to toe with the courthouse walls and talking dirty to the bricks. Now Willie was born an accident, the risk of his mama's trade. He entered life uninvited, and life was the awful price he paid. If there was ever a spark of smarts in Willie, the years blew 'em all away. No one ever taught him compassion, but quite a few taught him how to hate. "Hey, Willie," Pete cried, "you all right?" Willie looked at Pete for a moment, and then he spit in his eye. Then Willie called Pete a bastard and tried to pick a fight. And when Pete refused, Willie asked him if he could bum a smoke and a light. Pete pulled out his last one, broke it in two, lit both ends off a single match while Willie stared down at Pete's new Sally shoes. 10 wingtips they were. Looked darn near new. And so it went for Pete as he moved further down the road. They took him past the pawn shops where losers sell their souls, and the Halloween queens throw away their dreams, turning tricks and selling treats. Redemption don't come easy when it's passed out on the street, where the preacher by the lamppost fills an empty supper dish, pulling copper coins from the mouths of starving fish. And the greedy take what the needy lose, and the prophets all sing the blues as they're all sold down the river for the price of a new pair of shoes. He took a shortcut that evening, had to be back at Sally by 5. Through the alley between the church and the courthouse, didn't want to be locked outside. Willie was waiting in the shadows, a piece of pipe in his hand. To collect some dues life owed him, Willie figured God would understand. He left Pete lying in the alley to freeze in the rain and the sleet, for the Pete jacket on his back and the Sally shoes on his feet. Pete never knew what hit him, but he knew he'd run out of time. Didn't worry about the how or the who of it all, but he sure wondered why he died, wondering why. They found Pete next morning, a hand frozen in place, and one last vain attempt to keep the rain off his face. All the preachers cried about it and said it was a awful shame. City council pointed fingers, tried to find someone to blame. And a news commentator speculated on his pain. But when all was said and done, not a hell of a lot had changed. No, just for checking out, Pete thought he heard Jesus calling his name. From the book of Amos, you sell the needy for the price of a new pair of sandals. Thank you all for listening. Winter isn't far off. Please remember those who have no place to go to get out of the cold. And please stay safe out there. Wear your mask. Observe the proper distancing. And for heaven's sakes, go and vote. Thank you. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.